My project, titled Deconstruct the Neighborhood, Regenerate the Community, is framed by a series of 3 exploratory questions. First, how can the proliferation of vacant and/or dilapidated houses in Syracuse's Southside neighborhood be dealt with in a sustainable way? Next, how can this process produce a new architectural identity for the neighborhood? And finally, how can the project engage and activate the local community? In response, this project argues that the practice of deconstruction offers not only the opportunity to revitalize the housing stock, but provides the raw materials necessary to explore the possibilities of reusing salvaged lumber in the creation of mass timber elements. This will generate a new identity for the neighborhood not based around historical reference or a certain style, but around the practice of reuse and responsible design for the future. This manifests into a 3-step project in which I will design a process for selective deconstruction in the South Side, explore the reuse potential of salvaged lumber, and utilize the findings to design a new hybrid salvage facility and community center in the neighborhood. The South Side as a neighborhood has faced socio-economic challenges for generations, dating back to the construction of Interstate 81 in the 1950s, leading to widespread vacancy and dilapidation. As many of these houses are already scheduled for demolition, this project proposes their deconstruction. Typically, construction is a linear cycle beginning with raw material that ultimately ends up in a landfill. Deconstruction attempts to close this loop through salvage, recycling, and reuse. While more expensive up front, the long-term benefits include the potential for large tax returns that can make deconstruction financially more beneficial than demolition, as well as supporting local job training and an increase in nearby property values, especially in residential neighborhoods. As demonstrated by the current city zoning map, most of the South Side falls under a residential classification, shown here in yellow and orange. Additionally, a majority of these houses were constructed before 1940, with a similar majority valued below $50,000. Their age means that home repairs can often be difficult or even dangerous due to hazardous materials, and with such low housing value, many homeowners may not see the use in renovation. In fact, many houses are left to fall apart, as the South Side has one of the highest unit vacancy rates in central New York, shown here to be well above the national average. This comes along with large swaths of vacant land, showing that the neighborhood's population loss is now represented by a physical deterioration of density. Based on my fieldwork, these conditions have resulted in over 150 houses that are visibly falling apart, with many already being owned by the Greater Syracuse Land Bank. Here, they are mapped out, showing widespread effects that they could have on the community's identity. These are all structures that present great opportunities for controlled shrinkage of the neighborhood via deconstruction. This would allow for new research into the practice of material reuse. As shown earlier, up to 90% of a house can be recycled if properly disassembled. From there, each material has a diverse set of potential reuses. For example, salvaged lumber is a trendy aesthetic finish today, but early studies show it could be laminated together to produce structural mass timber panels. As an emerging construction technology in North America, there is a unique advantage for this material to be the generator of a new identity based around sustainable, responsible construction in the South Side neighborhood. But in order for this identity to take hold, this technology must be tested in the local environment. By hybridizing the program of a salvage facility and a community center, the proposed deconstruction initiative will have a home, and the community will be engaged and educated through exposure, job training, and housing partnerships. This intervention would act as an expansion facility for the Habitat for Humanity Restore, currently located in the near West Side. Through active reuse and design for deconstruction, the project can be a beacon for the regenerative practices at hand. In order to choose a site, the city's land use plans for 2040 are consulted to identify future areas of commercial activity and density. There are three major classifications the city has identified to support commercial activity and provide new nodes for redensification amidst the controlled shrinkage of the neighborhood. Within these boundaries, it can be seen that there are a number of large vacant plots as well as structures that present good opportunities for deconstruction. More specifically, these parameters align the most along the South Salina Street corridor. Several existing businesses already occupy this corridor, including many that would be great for potential partnerships. Organizations such as the Southside Innovation Center share similar socially oriented goals for the betterment of the neighborhood, presenting the chance for a deeper sense of engagement with the local community through collaboration. With this in mind, roughly 80,000 square feet of vacant land is available directly behind the Southside Innovation Center. The site offers a central location directly adjacent to South Salina Street and West Brighton Avenue, with two properties identified as strong candidates for deconstruction located directly on the site. Additionally, the nature of the block offers the potential for a certain level of urban design, as the new structure would enclose a plaza of sorts along the neighborhood's most important current and future artery, maximizing the project's impact on the community and its identity. Finally, while the current circumstances have made certain work and communications more challenging, I have set up the following exercises to help advance the project. With the help of these industry experts, I hope to maximize the potential for a regenerative reuse cycle in the South Side neighborhood.